everyone, I'm Daisy, and welcome to Easy English with Daisy. Here on this channel, we'll improve your English together in the easiest and most natural way. Each video includes slow, clear conversations to help you understand everyday vocabulary and expressions. You can also practice shadowing with me to level up your pronunciation and speak English more confidently. Let's learn English the easy way and make it fun. See you in the lessons.
Daisy, a 26-year-old from Chicago, was used to cold, gray skyscrapers and the deafening honks of rush hour. But today, standing amidst the dusty red dirt roads of Madagascar, she felt as if she had stepped onto another planet. Daisy wasn't here for luxury resorts. She wanted to find the legendary Avenue of the Baobabs, described in travel books as the route of the African soul. A battered old Jeep bounced Daisy across arid fields from the capital, heading west toward Morondava. The driver, a local man named Rakoto, with a toothy but radiant smile, pointed out the window. "Look, the earth here is red as blood, but the people's hearts are as clear as water." Daisy smiled, adjusting her bucket hat. She had spent a whole year working herself to the bone in the States just for this very moment. When the car stopped at a small roadside village for water, Daisy stepped out. The African heat hit her face, carrying the scent of baked earth and a hint of vanilla from distant plantations. A group of local children with bright, wide eyes ran out. They didn't ask for money. They were just curious to touch Daisy's golden hair. Instead of shying away, Daisy crouched down. She pulled out her Polaroid camera, snapped a photo, and gifted it to the smallest boy. The crisp laughter of the children ringing out in the summer heat made Daisy realize how long had it been since she laughed so carelessly back in Chicago. By late afternoon, the car finally arrived at the Avenue of the Baobabs. Daisy held her breath. Before her stood giants, towering straight up into the blue sky. Massive baobabs, with thick trunks and branches looking like roots planted upside down in the sky. They had stood there for over 800 years, witnessing the island's history. Daisy walked slowly between the two rows of trees. She felt truly small, not just physically, but her daily worries felt insignificant too. As the sun began to set, the Madagascar sky put on a spectacular light show. It shifted from turquoise to blazing yellow, burnt orange, and finally a deep purple covering everything. Daisy sat down at the base of the largest baobab. She closed her eyes, listening to the wind whistling through the canopy and the crickets beginning to chirp. In that moment of silence, Daisy realized this journey wasn't to escape America, but to reconnect with herself. When darkness fully descended, Daisy stood up, brushing a red dust off her jeans. She knew she had to return tomorrow, but the red dust of Madagascar and the image of the resilient baobabs would stay in her heart forever. Daisy whispered to herself, "Goodbye, giants. Thank you for teaching me how to stand tall." The Jeep rolled away, leaving behind the peaceful African night, carrying with it a brand new Daisy.
Daisy, welcome back. It's been, 3 weeks since you landed back in Chicago? I have to say, looking at you now, you don't just look like you got a tan. You look lighter. And I don't mean weight. There is a different energy about you. When we spoke before you left, you were vibrating with anxiety about quarterly reports and mortgage rates. Now you're sitting here, and the silence doesn't seem to bother you. How does it feel to be back in the land of the wealthy, so to speak?
It's strange, Jonathan. That word, wealthy, it hits my ears differently now. The first morning back, I walked into my favorite coffee shop on Michigan Avenue. You know, the one with the Italian marble counters and the $5 espressos. Everyone was in a rush, checking their watches, yelling into their AirPods, terrified of losing a single minute. A month ago, I was one of them. I defined my worth by how busy I was. But standing there, holding that expensive coffee, I felt incredibly poor. I looked around and saw spiritual poverty masked by expensive suits. It was almost suffocating. I kept thinking about the red dust in Morindava and how out there, time isn't something you fight against, it's something you move with.
That is a powerful observation. We often equate speed and accumulation with success here, but you went to a place that, statistically speaking, is one of the poorest nations on Earth. Madagascar often ranks at the bottom of GDP lists. Did that statistics sheet match the reality you saw on the ground, or was the definition of poverty different when you looked it in the eye?
That's exactly what I wanted to talk to you about. The statistics are just numbers on a page. They don't account for the human spirit. I remember the drive to the avenue of the Baobabs. We stopped at a small village to let the engine cool down. Jonathan, this place didn't have electricity. The houses were made of dried mud and thatch. If you put that on a spreadsheet in Chicago, it screams misery. And I'll be honest, my first instinct, my American instinct, was pity. I looked out the window of the Jeep and thought, oh, these poor people, they have nothing. I felt this wave of guilt for my iPhone, my camera, even the bottled water in my hand. I was preparing myself to see sadness. I was ready to be the benevolent tourist feeling sorry for the locals.
That is a very honest admission, Daisy. We are conditioned to pity anything that doesn't look like our version of comfort. So, when did that feeling of pity change? What shattered that illusion for you?
It was the silence first, and then the noise. When I stepped out of the Jeep, the heat was physical. It had a weight to it. But Rakoto, my driver, he just leaned against the car and breathed it in. He didn't check a phone. He didn't worry about where he needed to be next. He was just there. He pointed to the red earth and said, "This land gives us everything, if we listen." That was the first crack in my worldview. In Chicago, we believe we need things to survive. We need the latest app, the fastest car, the Amazon Prime delivery. Rakoto had a shirt with a hole in the shoulder and a smile that could outshine the sun. He told me he works when the sun is up and rests when the sun goes down. It sounded so simple, yet so revolutionary to my corporate brain. I asked him if he worried about the future. He laughed, a deep belly laugh, and asked me, why worry about the storm that hasn't formed yet?
Why worry about the storm that hasn't formed yet? That is profound. We spend our entire lives here buying insurance for storms that might never come. We hoard money for a someday that often never arrives. So you're standing there in the heat with a man who owns very little but seems to possess a piece you paid thousands of dollars to find. Did you feel envious?
I did. I felt a jealous pang. I realized I was rich in dollars, but I was poor in time and peace. I had a bank account full of money, but I was bankrupt in joy. That's when the children came out. And Jonathan, this is the moment that changed everything for me. This is the moment I rewrote my definition of wealth.
Tell me about the children. Usually in travel documentaries, this is the part where the tourist hands out candy or pens and feels like a savior.
Exactly. And I had those things in my bag. But when they ran up to me, they didn't look at my bag. They looked at me. They were fascinated by my hair, my skin. There was this little boy, maybe 6 years old, barefoot, wearing shorts that were too big for him. In Chicago, if I saw a child like that, I'd call social services. Here, he was the leader of the pack, radiating confidence. I crouched down and took a picture with my Polaroid, the instant ones. When the photo developed and I handed it to him, the reaction wasn't polite gratitude. It was pure, unadulterated ecstasy. He screamed with joy, showing it to his friends. They huddled around this tiny square of paper like it was a diamond.
It wasn't the value of the paper, was it? It was the acknowledgement.
Yes, that's it. It was the connection. In that moment, we were just humans. I wasn't a rich American, and he wasn't a poor African kid. We were just two souls sharing a laugh. I realized that their wealth comes from community. They have each other. They share everything. If one person has food, everyone eats. In my apartment building in Chicago, I don't even know my neighbor's name. I live in a box of luxury, completely isolated. That village, it was an ecosystem of care. That boy didn't need my pity. He had a village that loved him. I, on the other hand, have 5,000 followers on Instagram and eat dinner alone. Who is the poor one, really?
That is a hard pill to swallow. The idea that our isolation is the price we pay for our comfort. We build walls to feel safe, but those walls keep the community out. So you're standing there laughing with these kids. Did it make you want to throw your passport away and stay, or did it just make you angry at the life you were returning to?
It didn't make me angry, Jonathan. It made me aware. It was like waking up from a long sleep. I realized that my wealth was actually a burden. I have so much stuff. My closet is full of clothes I don't wear. My shelves are full of books I don't read. My mind is full of worries that don't matter. Standing under those baobab trees later that day, I felt the weight of all that excess. The baobabs, they only store what they need, water. They don't hoard, they adapt. They survive for 800 years because they are efficient and resilient. I've been hoarding status, hoping it would turn into happiness.
That's a beautiful metaphor. The baobab stores water for survival. We store status for ego. It sounds like you experienced a detoxification of the soul. But Daisy, the cynics would say, that's a nice vacation sentiment, but you can't pay rent with smiles. How do you reconcile that? You still have to live in the modern world. You can't pay your landlord with a Polaroid photo.
And that's the challenge, isn't it? I'm not saying money is evil. Money is a tool. Ricardo needs money to fix his Jeep. The village needs money for medicine. But money should be the tool, not the master. Before I left, money was the goal. Now, money is just the gas in the car. It's not the destination. I've realized that true wealth is the ability to be fully present. When I was with those kids, I wasn't thinking about my email. I was rich in that moment because I was fully owning my time. Now that I'm back, I'm trying to keep that. I'm buying less, I'm working hard, but I'm logging off at 5 p.m. I'm learning my neighbor's name. I'm trying to build a village here in the city. Creating a village in a city of skyscrapers. That is a noble goal. It sounds like you didn't leave your wealth in Madagascar. You brought the real wealth back with you. You brought back the perspective. I brought back the dust, Jonathan. Literally. I found some red dust on my boots this morning. I didn't wipe it off. I left it there. It reminds me that somewhere in the world there are giant trees that grow upside down, and there are people who smile with their whole hearts, even when they have nothing in their pockets. It reminds me that I don't need more to be happy. I just need to notice what I already have.
I don't need more to be happy. I just need to notice what I already have. Daisy, I think that is the perfect definition to end on. You went looking for adventure, but you found a mirror. And I think the Daisy that came back is far richer than the one who left. Thank you for sharing this journey with me.
Thank you, Jonathan. And hey, maybe next time you should come with me. The Baobabs are excellent listeners.
Maybe I will. Maybe we all need a little red dust on our boots.
Okay, look at this. Seriously,
What?
it looks wrong.
Wrong how?
It looks like a mistake, like a glitch in the simulation.
A glitch?
Yes, look at the proportions. The trunk is massive, bulbous even, and the branches, they look like roots. It looks like someone pulled it out and stuck it back in head first.
That's exactly what the legend says.
There's a legend?
A local one. They say the baobab was the first tree ever created, but it was arrogant.
An arrogant tree?
Extremely. It kept complaining to the gods. It wanted to be taller than the palm tree, more colorful than the flamboyant tree. High maintenance. Very. So the gods got annoyed. They ripped it out of the ground and planted it upside down to shut it up.
That is fantastic.
Right? That's why it looks like the roots are in the air. It's a punishment for ego.
Silence through inversion.
Exactly. And when you stand under them, Jonathan, the photos don't do it justice.
They look big here.
No, they are monstrous. You feel like an ant.
An ant?
A microscopic ant. You crane your neck back until it hurts, and you still can't see the top leaves.
Did it feel oppressive, being that small?
That's the funny thing. I thought it would, but it wasn't.
So, not oppressive.
No.
What then?
Liberating.
Liberating? Usually feeling small makes people panic. We like to feel big, important.
That's the Chicago talking.
Guilty.
Think about it. How old is your apartment building?
Maybe 40 years? It's a historic landmark.
Cute. Those trees, some are 800 years old.
800?
Some are over 1,000.
Wow.
Jonathan, those trees were saplings when Genghis Khan was alive.
Okay, that puts it in perspective.
They were standing there before the United States existed, before the Industrial Revolution, before electricity.
And they're just still there.
Just standing there, watching. I put my hand on the bark. It was warm, rough, and I suddenly felt ridiculous.
Ridiculous? Why?
Because that morning I was stressing about an email I forgot to send.
The horror.
I know, right? I was literally losing sleep over a typo. And then I touched this living thing that has survived droughts, cyclones, and centuries of history.
And the typo didn't seem so big anymore.
It felt invisible. It felt like a joke. Standing next to something that permanent, my emergencies just dissolved.
It's a reality check.
It's a slap in the face. A gentle one, but a slap.
We live in seconds. They live in centuries.
Exactly. We're sprinting, they're standing.
So you're there, touching the bark, feeling like an ephemeral little human. Then what?
Then the sun started to drop.
Sunset on the avenue, the classic shot.
You've seen the pictures?
Everyone has seen the pictures. It's on every screensaver.
Delete them from your mind.
Why?
They're flat. You can't smell the dust in a JPEG. You can't hear the wind change.
The wind changes?
Completely. When the sun hits the horizon, everything goes quiet. The birds stop. The tourists, even the loud ones, they stop talking.
A collective silence.
Yes. And the colors? Jonathan, it wasn't just orange.
No?
It was violet, then blood red, then this deep, bruising blue. The trees turned into silhouettes,
Like cutouts?
like guardians. They looked like giant black skeletons holding up the sky.
That sounds haunting.
It was, but beautiful. I sat down in the dirt.
In the dirt? You? Miss Dry Clean Only?
I know. I sat right in the red dust. I didn't care. I just watched the light die behind those trunks, and I felt it again.
That smallness?
Deeper this time. I felt irrelevant.
Ouch. Irrelevant? That sounds harsh.
No, it was the best feeling in the world.
Explain that to me. How is feeling irrelevant a good thing? We spend our whole lives trying to be relevant, to be seen.
That's the trap. That's the exhaustion. We carry the weight of the world on our shoulders. We think if we stop, the world stops.
Atlas holding the sky.
Exactly. But under those trees, I realized the world doesn't need me to spin.
It spins just fine without you.
Perfectly fine. Those trees don't care about my career. The sun doesn't care about my Instagram engagement.
It's indifferent.
It's peacefully indifferent. If I disappeared tomorrow, those trees would keep standing.
That sounds lonely.
No, it took the pressure off. If I'm not the center of the universe, then my mistakes aren't the end of the world.
Ah, I see.
If I'm small, my problems are small. My failures are small.
And your fears?
Tiny, microscopic.
So insignificance is freedom?
It's absolute freedom, Jonathan. For 10 minutes, while that sun went down, I wasn't Daisy the manager. I wasn't Daisy the daughter. I was just biology. I was just a breathing thing sitting under a growing thing.
Just a speck of dust enjoying the view.
The happiest speck of dust you've ever met.
You know, that's a dangerous philosophy to bring back to Chicago.
Why?
Try telling your boss he's irrelevant because he's not a baobab tree.
Oh, I've thought about it.
Don't get fired, Daisy.
I won't. But it helps.
How?
Yesterday, in the boardroom, the VP was screaming about Q3 projections, vein popping in his forehead. The old Daisy would have panicked.
And the new Daisy?
I just looked at him, and in my head, I overlaid the image of the baobab.
You baobabbed him?
I did. I imagined him standing next to the tree.
And?
He looked like a very loud, very small shrub.
A shrub.
A noisy bush. It was hard not to laugh, but it kept me calm. I realized this is noise. This isn't forever. So the giants came home with you. They're my mental bodyguards. Whenever I feel the ego inflating or the stress rising, I just go back to the dirt. You remember you're an ant. I remember I'm an ant, and I take a deep breath. Well, Daisy, I have to say. What?
I've never wanted to be an ant so badly in my life.
There's plenty of room in the dirt, Jonathan. Join me.
I think I just might. Be honest.
About what?
The mattress.
Oh, God.
You missed it.
I dreamed about it.
I knew it.
My mattress here, it's a cloud. It's memory foam. It remembers me.
And there?
Ideally, it was a mattress. Realistically, it was a bag of rocks.
Rocks?
Lumpy, hard, and the pillow was theoretical.
A concept of a pillow?
Exactly. Just a folded towel, basically.
So, first night, you're lying on the bag of rocks. No AC. Mosquito net?
Holes everywhere.
Perfect. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking, I have a savings account. Why am I doing this?
Get me to the Hilton.
Get me to a chiropractor.
But you stayed.
I couldn't exactly call an Uber. I was 4 hours from the nearest paved road.
Trapped in paradise.
Trapped in discomfort.
The roads. I've heard stories.
They aren't roads, Jonathan. They are suggestions.
Suggestions?
Suggestions made by a crazy person. Potholes the size of a swimming pool.
So the Jeep.
The Jeep was a cocktail shaker, and I was the martini.
Shaken, not stirred.
Violently shaken for 6 hours. Rakoto calls it the African massage.
Free of charge?
Included in the price of admission, my ribs were bruising my lungs.
Sounds miserable.
It was! Physically, it was awful. I was sweaty, sore, bouncing around.
But?
But I wasn't bored.
Not bored.
In Chicago, I drive a Lexus. Smooth, quiet.
You feel nothing.
Exactly. I commute for an hour and I don't remember the drive. I'm on autopilot.
Numb.
Completely numb. But in that Jeep, I felt every single rock.
You were forced to be present.
I had to hold on for dear life. I was awake. Every nerve ending was screaming, "We are here. We are moving."
So the pain woke you up. What about the dirt?
The dust. Red dust. It gets everywhere.
Everywhere?
In your ears, in your teeth. I was crunchy.
Crunchy is not a good look.
I felt filthy. By noon, I was covered in a layer of Madagascar.
And no shower?
Not until nightfall. And even then,
Cold.
freezing. A bucket and a cup.
The classic bucket shower.
I stood there, shivering, covered in red mud, exhausted.
And you hated it.
I loved it.
You loved being crunchy and freezing.
I felt clean.
That makes zero sense.
I know, but in Chicago, I shower twice a day. I use expensive scrubs, but I feel sticky. Sticky with stress. Yes, sticky with expectations. Emails, fake smiles.
Emotional grime.
But there, the dirt was real. It was honest dirt. I earned that dirt.
And washing it off?
Best sensation of my life. That cold water hitting my skin, it shocked me back to life.
There had to be a moment, though. A breaking point.
Oh, there was. Day 3.
What happened?
We got a flat tire. In the blazing sun. No shade.
Classic.
I'm hot. I'm hungry. I have to pee, and I'm watching Rakoto hit the tire with a rock because the jack is broken.
With a rock?
A big rock.
And you snapped?
I started to. I felt the Karen rising. I paid for this. This is unacceptable.
The Chicago Daisy was emerging.
She was ready to scream.
What stopped her?
A goat.
A goat?
A random goat walked out of the bush, stared at me, and chewed on my shoelace.
No way.
Yes! And Rikoto is there hitting the tire with a rock, sweating, singing a song, and this goat is eating my sneaker.
What did you do?
I just broke. I started laughing.
Hysterical laughter?
Full maniacal laughter. I laughed until I cried.
You surrendered.
I surrendered. I realized I have no control here, and it's fine.
The discomfort broke your control freak.
Shattered it, and it felt amazing.
You know, people pay therapists a lot of money to learn how to let go of control.
I paid for a plane ticket and a flat tire. Cheaper.
So, back to the memory foam mattress. You slept on it last night.
I did.
Best sleep ever?
It was too soft.
Haha!
I woke up missing the rocks.
You missed the fight.
I miss the feeling, Jonathan. Comfort is dangerous.
How so?
Comfort is a sedative. It lulls you to sleep. You float through life without touching the sides.
And discomfort?
Discomfort is friction. It's traction. You can't climb a mountain if the ground is smooth.
You need the jagged edges to get a grip.
Exactly. I think I was healed by the bad roads.
The African massage.
It shook the numbness out of me.
So, next trip?
Somewhere with terrible roads.
And no pillows?
Absolutely no pillows.
You're officially crazy, Daisy.
Finally. Thank you.
Okay, let's talk logistics, because this is the part that stresses me out just thinking about it.
What stresses you out? The bugs?
No, the talking, the communication. You don't speak Malagasy.
I speak 3 words. Hello, thank you, and lemur.
Useful, especially if you're being thanked by a lemur.
Extremely critical vocabulary.
But seriously, you speak English, they speak Malagasy and French. You were out in the boonies with Rikojo for days. How did you not go insane?
Honestly, I was terrified at first. Before I left, I downloaded every translation app. I had the offline dictionaries. I had a pocket phrase book. I was ready to conjugate verbs.
The diligent student.
The control freak student. I thought, if I can't explain myself, I'm unsafe.
That's a valid fear. If you get hurt or lost, words are your lifeline.
Exactly. But the second I stepped off the plane, I realized something terrifying. My apps were useless.
No signal?
No signal. And even if there was, looking at a screen while someone is smiling at you, it feels wrong. It feels rude. So I put the phone away.
So you were mute.
I was effectively a toddler. I couldn't ask, how much is this? Or where is the bathroom? Or please don't drive off that cliff.
That sounds like a nightmare for a project manager. You live by communication.
It was panic-inducing for about an hour. And then the silence settled in. And I realized I had to use the other 90% of my brain.
The other 90%? You mean charades?
High-stakes charades. It was amazing, Jonathan. We forget how much we say with our bodies. Give me an example. Okay, so lunchtime. I'm starving. I can't say, I would like the chicken stew, please. So I rub my stomach. I make a face like, and I point to a pot.
Primal.
Very primal. And the woman serving the food, she didn't need a sentence. She looked at my eyes, saw the hunger, laughed, and piled a mountain of rice on my plate.
No confusion?
0. In fact, it was clearer than English. In Chicago, you order a sandwich, you have to specify the bread, the condiments, the sides, the allergies. It's a negotiation. It's a contract. Here, it was just, I am hungry, here is food, thank you, you are welcome. The transaction was pure.
And Rakoto, you spent hours in the car with him.
We had entire conversations without a single noun.
How?
He would see a bump in the road, he'd catch my eye in the rearview mirror and grimace. I would brace myself and make a yikes face. We'd hit the bump, then we'd look at each other and laugh.
A shared experience.
Exactly. We bonded over the dust, the heat, the crazy goats. We didn't need to discuss politics or the weather. We were just witnessing the world together.
It sounds intimate.
It was. There's an intimacy in silence. When you strip away the words, you can't lie.
You can't lie?
Think about it. Words are how we hide. I'm fine. It's okay. Let's circle back. We use words to mask how we feel.
That's true. I'm fine is usually the biggest lie of the day.
But you can't lie with your eyes. If I was tired, Rakoto knew. If he was proud of his country, I saw it in his posture. We were reading each other's souls, not our scripts.
Reading souls, not scripts. That hits hard.
It should.
I'm thinking about my day today. I probably spoke 5,000 words, meetings, calls, emails.
And how much of it was real?
Maybe 10%? The rest was filler, jargon, synergy, deliverables, touch base.
Exactly. We drown in noise, Jonathan. We talk at each other, not with each other. We're so busy preparing our next sentence that we don't listen to the one being spoken.
We listen to respond, not to understand.
Precisely. In Madagascar, because I couldn't speak, I had to listen. I listened to the tone of voice, the rhythm, the laughter.
You listened to the music, not the lyrics.
Yes, and the music told me everything. I met a grandmother in the village. She grabbed my hands. Her hands were like old leather, so warm. She spoke to me for 5 minutes in Malagasy. Fast, passionate speech. You didn't understand a word? Not a syllable. But I understood her. She was telling me she was happy I was there. She was blessing me. She was worried I was too thin. You got all that from tone? From the squeeze of her hand, from the light in her eyes. I teared up. I started crying, Jonathan, and I didn't know why. A grandmother's love translates. It transcends. It made me realize that English is just a tool. Connection? That's biological. That's human.
So, coming back, was it jarring?
It was deafening.
The city noise?
The verbal noise. I walked into the office and everyone was talking, loudly, about nothing. Did you see that show? Did you see that tweet? It felt like everyone was broadcasting and no one was tuning in.
Signal to noise ratio is off.
Way off. I sat in a meeting and watched 2 colleagues arguing. They were using perfectly correct English, sophisticated grammar, but they weren't connecting. They were just firing missiles at each other. And you're sitting there, the mute observer. I wanted to shake them. I wanted to say, stop talking. Look at his face. He's hurt. Look at her hands. She's defensive. You learned a new language, the language of empathy. I think I just relearned the old one, the one we forgot when we invented text messages. It makes me wonder, are we lonelier here because we talk too much? I think so. We hide behind our vocabulary. We intellectualize our feelings instead of feeling them. In that village, joy was joy. Sadness was sadness. It wasn't complicated. It wasn't nuanced. It just was.
Tell me about the goodbye with Rakoto.
That was the hardest part.
What did you say?
Nothing.
Nothing?
What could I say? Thank you for driving me? It felt too small. I will miss you? He wouldn't understand the words.
So what happened?
He dropped me off at the airport. He unloaded my bag. The dust was still on it. He looked at me. I looked at him.
The silence again.
The silence. But this time, it was heavy. He took off his hat. He put his hand over his heart. Just pressed it there. And he bowed his head slightly.
A gesture of respect.
More than respect. It was, you are in here.
Wow.
I did the same. I put my hand on my heart. We stood there, amidst the chaos of the airport taxis, just holding our hearts. And that was enough. It was everything. It was a novel in a single movement. If I had tried to speak, I would have ruined it. I would have made it awkward. You let the silence do the work. I let the heart do the work. Daisy, you're making me want to take a vow of silence. You should try it, Jonathan. Just for an hour. Don't speak. Just look. You'll be amazed at how much louder the world gets. Don't speak, just look. I think I'm going to write that down. Write it down. Then put the pen away.
So we've talked about the trees, the silence, and the ride, but now we have to talk about the hardest part.
Which is?
Re-entry. The astronaut coming back to Earth. Or in your case, the wanderer coming back to the Windy City.
The landing was rough, I won't lie.
I noticed the boots by the door.
You saw them?
Hard to miss. They look like they've been to Mars. Everything else in your apartment is white or beige. Then there are those red abominations.
My mother came over yesterday. She almost had a heart attack. She tried to take them to the laundry sink. I literally jumped in front of her.
You protected the dirt.
I protected the evidence, Jonathan.
Evidence of what?
That it was real. That I was there. You know how it is. You come back, and within 48 hours, the city tries to scrub you clean. The emails pile up, the traffic noise drowns out your thoughts. You start to wonder, did I actually sit under a baobab tree, or was that just a screensaver? The city acts like a solvent. It dissolves memories. Exactly. So I kept the boots dirty. I look at them every morning before I put on my heels. It's my daily reality check. It's me saying, you are a corporate manager, yes, but you are also the girl who sat in the dirt.
It's an anchor.
It's a lifeline. If I clean those boots, I feel like I'll wash away the magic.
So, let's test this lifeline. You've been back at work for a week. The honeymoon phase usually ends when the first urgent email lands in your inbox.
Oh, the urgent emails. They started landing before I even left the airport.
And did you spiral? Did you panic?
The old Daisy would have. I used to vibrate with cortisol. My heart rate would spike if a client used all caps.
And the new Daisy?
I sat in the Monday morning briefing. My boss was pacing around, red in the face, screaming about a supply chain delay in Ohio. He was throwing markers. A classic meltdown. And I just sat there. I looked at him, and I didn't see a terrifying boss. I saw a man who has never seen a sunset in Morondava.
You pitied him?
No, I just contextualized him. I thought about Rakoto. Rakoto deals with cyclones that wipe out entire roads. He deals with malaria, and he smiles. My boss is dealing with a delayed shipment of staples.
Perspective is a hell of a drug.
It really is. When he asked me, "Daisy, why aren't you panicking? This is a disaster," I just said, "Steve, nobody is dying. It's just paper. We'll fix it." "You said that to Steve?" I did. The room went silent. I bet. But then he stopped pacing. He took a breath. My calm was contagious. I realized that bringing the red dust back isn't about quitting my job. It's about being the eye of the storm inside the job.
You're planting a baobab in the conference room.
I'm trying to. I'm trying to be the one thing that doesn't bend when the wind blows.
That sounds empowering at work. But what about your friends, your social circle? You guys used to be the brunch and mimosas crew.
That has been harder.
I imagined it might be.
I went to dinner with them on Friday. We went to that new place where the pasta costs $40.
Of course.
And they were talking, but it was all surface. Did you see her shoes? He got a promotion. I need a new car. It felt like listening to a radio tuned to static.
You couldn't tune in?
I tried. I really tried. But I kept thinking about the grandmother in the village. I wanted to talk about life, about connection, about what scares us.
And did you?
I tried to steer the conversation. I talked about the silence in the avenue. And my friend, she just looked at me and said, "That sounds nice, but isn't it dusty?" And immediately switched the topic to her Botox appointment.
Ouch.
It hurt, Jonathan. I felt incredibly lonely in a room full of my best friends. I realized I have outgrown the container I used to live in. Growing pains. Yeah, I realized I might lose some friends, and that scares me. But I can't shrink myself back down just to fit into the conversation about Botox. I can't unsee what I saw.
You're filtering your life, keeping the gold, losing the sand.
Exactly. I'd rather have 2 friends who understand the dust than 20 friends who worry about the shoes.
So you're changing your work, you're changing your circle, but the city is relentless, Daisy. It never stops grinding. Are you afraid the feeling will fade? That in 6 months the boots will just be dirty boots?
I am terrified of that. That's my biggest fear. Amnesia.
So what is the plan? How do you keep the Madagascar frequency?
I've created a ritual.
A ritual?
Every day at sunset, just for 10 minutes, I turn off my phone, I turn off the lights in my apartment, and I just sit.
No TV, no music?
Nothing. I sit on the floor, I close my eyes, and I mentally walk down the avenue of the Baobabs. I visualize the trees, I feel the heat. I summon the feeling of being small.
You go back there.
I go back to the source. It recharges me. It reminds me that the chaos of Chicago is just a layer on top. Underneath, there is still silence. Underneath, there is still the earth.
You found the stillness inside you.
I realize the baobab isn't just a tree in Africa. It's a state of mind. It's the ability to store water when it's dry, to stand tall when it's windy. I can be a baobab in Chicago. I have to be.
I can be a baobab in Chicago. Daisy, you have no idea how much I needed to hear that today.
You? Mr. I write everything down?
Especially me. I get caught in the noise too. I get sticky with the stress. Listening to you, it's like someone opened a window in a stuffy room. Good. Then my mission is accomplished. Not quite. No? You inspired me, but stories are only half the battle. What's the other half? Experience. I was looking at my calendar while you were talking. And I have 2 weeks of vacation in November. I was going to go to Florida, sit by a pool, drink cocktails.
Shakes head. Boring. Predictable.
That's what I thought. So I'm thinking I might need to buy some hiking boots.
Jonathan.
I think I need to see if the trees really are that big.
I think I need to get some red dust on my shoes.
Oh, Jonathan, you have to. Rakota will be waiting.
Will you give me his number?
I'll give you his number. But Jonathan,
Yeah?
don't bring a pillow.
No pillows, no complaints. Just dust. Just dust.
Go find your giants, Jonathan.
Thanks, Daisy. I'll let you know when I find them.
I'll be waiting.